So as SAP introduction, you understood that what is the importance of SAP and what are the competitors with SAP and why, what all the modules you are having in SAP and what exactly this basis and what exactly a basis person will do in any organization. That part only we discussed, right?
Yeah.
So now the next level is to understand what is the landscape of SAP and the architecture. These are the two things today I will discuss, which help you to understand the landscape, because any basis consultant, even though any SAP consultant also must have a awareness of the landscape and the architecture. So for the basis, architecture is not required for other consultants, but as a basis consultant, we must be know what is the architecture and all. So let's start with the landscape. What is the landscape? Landscape is nothing but how the SAP systems arranged in an organization is called landscape. So it varies from the client to client. Take example of one Philips client is there, another is Microsoft. Depends on their business and their enterprise, the landscape will be different. Like installation you did for two systems, three systems, 100 systems, that depends. So how you will arrange the systems in the organization, that is called the landscape. So here in SAP, we have a majorly the three types of the landscape we will discuss. Generally used only one, so we need to understand. That's why I'm explaining all. So four types we are using the landscapes. Okay, but the last one is very cost. It will be a cost more cost, so that's why they are not using. So one by one we will discuss. When this SAP has introduced in 1972, those days they used the one system landscape. One system landscape. This one system landscape, what happens here? The dev data, development data, whoever developers, MMSD, all the consultants, whatever configuration did in the development system, dev data, and the quality, the same testing data, and the real time happens in the production system, the production data kept into one system. Assume that all these things happens in a one CPU. Tell me what are the drawbacks if you will get if you have only a one server. Take in your desktop or a laptop, you have only one drive, C drive. What will be the possibility and what will be the problem you will face? As per my understand, two problems majorly will get. One is security. If any fatal problem occurs and your drive has crashed or your hard disk has crashed, there is no backup. Maybe OS corrupted, your data will be gone. The same thing, those days also they thought about this. So if any problem occurs, then the entire the data will be lost. So data security is not there. The second thing is everyone will hit to the production data, because the real-time data runs and the business runs on the production data. So production data kept into a development and quality data. So everyone will hit to the production system. So it become the slow down the system. So performance issues will be getting. So for these two drawbacks, the SAP has decided in the 80s time. Okay, in 80s time they moved to a landscape called two system landscape. Two system landscape, what they did, they separate the dev and quality kept into one system, and the last one, that the production PRD has separated. So development data, quality data kept into one system, and the production data is separated. So in a diagrammatic way, I will explain you to understand. Assume that this become your development data, quality, and production data. Okay, so this will be like this. Dev, this become your quality, and this will be your production. Here, dev data, production, quality data. Different things. So when you come to the second stage, that is two system landscape, development, quality will be one place, and production is totally separate. So then that this is your dev, and this is quality, the production. So earlier also we discussed this entire SAP software as built by the 5 members left the organization of IBM, right? So they use the platform here as a mainframe. They use the platform as mainframe. So SAP runs on the mainframe. Maybe you have an query. What about the initial time? In the initial time, they use the platform as a trans platform, and basically all together they are using a one system. They maintained as a real time R by real time R by, and finally they moved into this one happens in 1980s. The first one is 1972. 1992 they introduced the three system landscape in the platform. They run in Java. Java is mandatory to install the SAP. JRE, Java Runtime Environment, will use to run this entire as a application. Okay. In 1992, they introduced this three system landscape. They said the real time three system, that's why they have R by 3. So, dev data, quality, and production individually separated like this. So now the backup is also okay, test data also be maintained, pre-production, everything they maintained in proper way in 1992 onwards. Okay, no need to go for the multi-system landscape. I will explain you what is multi-system landscape. So the same thing we can achieve using the three system landscape which we have in the multi-system landscape. That means very simple is multi-system landscape. Two more systems will be added, which become the cost for the company. So most of the companies are not going for a multi-system landscape. So if you have a dev data, assume that this is your development one data and this is your dev two data, quality one data and quality two data. Finally, it will move to the production. So in this scenario, what happened? A development people like Evaper is working on this and he enhanced the one program. Then another developer will test in the separate system. That will be a dev 2. Later it will move to the quality for testing. The functional consultant will test the same thing in the quality 1. The another person will check in the quality 2. After that it will move to the production. So cross verification will be happening here. But if you create or install the system, it won't take much time. But the maintenance cost to maintain the servers in an organization, it will be a very cost. So for that, what happened? So most of the companies are not recommended to the system. So here, the same thing you can achieve in the above R by 3. 99.99 companies are in R by 3 system only. Okay. So how the R by 3 can be achieved the below one means? Day before yesterday's class in introduction class, I told you one concept that is called client administration, where you can create separate clients inside the server. Like in development system, you can create a separate systems. In quality, you can create the systems. So what is the necessary to maintain an external system? No need. Inside the server itself, you can build a one more system. The same copy you can make it maintain. So using that concept, it's not required to maintain a separate system. So this is the landscape. Now I hope you understood this one. So here we have a two environments. Generally and basically in interviews also asked by interview, environments are two. One environment is called homogeneous environment. The second one is called heterogeneous. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Three systems. Homogeneous, heterogeneous. Homogeneous means your system, quality system, production system maintain the same operating system and the same database. Like in development system, you have a Windows 2003, quality you have a 2003, production you have a 2003, development you have Oracle, quality you have Oracle, production also you have Oracle. That is called homogeneous environment. Heterogeneous environment means any slight change, maximum most of the projects, the production system runs on a operating system called Linux. So that time what happened, it's called a heterogeneous environment. Because no one will be maintain the dev data database is Oracle and production data will be in SQL. No one will use. Maximum is operating system will be changed due to the security in production. They can move the production data into in a or what is it called Linux. In that situation, what happened? We can say it's called a heterogeneous environment. These are the two environments you are having in SAP landscapes. Is it clear to you, Subhas?
Yeah. Then, but I want to answer one thing. Development side, we use only Windows. And only for production side we use Linux, right?
Development side, you can use the Windows, yes, and production, you can use the Linux. No, it's not like that. You can use the Linux. See, development, some projects I seen, development Linux, quality also Linux, production also Linux. Linux is a freeware, right? You can use that. Now, if you say in HANA, you don't have a heterogeneous, you have homogeneous only because HANA runs on SUSE Linux.
Okay. Mhm.
This ECC component, whatever you have, this ECC component can be run in Windows and can be run in Unix and can be run in Linux. So
Okay.
if
Okay.
the thing is development, quality, production, maintain the Linux operating system, then it's called a homogeneous. Heterogeneous,
O-
when you will find heterogeneous is when you have a Windows and Linux.
Okay. Then it is called heterogeneous, where we use the
Heterogeneous.
multiple operating systems. Okay.
Exactly, because no one will use the database is development is different and production will be some other database. No one will use that. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So yes, and homogeneous. Why I said in HANA, HANA is itself is a database, so no other database will be there. So database itself is okay. Then it runs only the Linux. Then there is no question that heterogeneous environment. If you say in your resume HANA project, then homogeneous only you have, not heterogeneous.
Okay. Okay, it's clear.
So take an example of any of the system, development system or a quality or a production, how it's supposed to be internally. That is called the landscape. For your understand, I'm just taking in a one color. I'm picking the development system. I assume that this development system, I just take in deep way to understand how it's supposed to be when you install the SAP software. Okay, when you install the SAP software inside any of the systems, how it will be means it's supposed to be divided into three parts. Assume that this is your development system. Generally, this architecture divided into three layers. That layers is called any language, even any technology. Also, you can find the same. Here also, we have a three layers. One is presentation layer. Which one is called initially presentation layer. Whatever you, me, everyone, customer, business people, anyone using SAP, they will log in through a GUI, graphical user interface, SAP GUI. That GUI will be individually installed in their laptops or desktops. Okay, using that we will be connected to the server. That assume that the circles are the people. Okay, so this environment, we can say this particular layer is called presentation layer, or we can say it's called a UI layer. In some technologies, we can say it's called a UI layer also, user interface layer, or a presentation layer. Presentation layer, what exactly it will do means it brings the data from the database, as similar in other areas. Like if you have a banking ATM, for example, take example of you have ATM card and you went to swipe the card. What happens? It will display one particular screen to withdraw the money or balance check or less, right? So it will display in your first screen, that is presentation layer. And your barcode number is correct and you want to withdraw the money. That time another screen will be there. So where do you get the screen? You'll get from your database layer. From the database there it throws to you and you are able to see that balance check and the second screen like withdraw the money, password change and all. Now how that screen appears to you, that will be happens in any technologies processing. So here also in SAP some processing happens. That processing is called a middle layer. That middle layer is called application layer. The application layer contains thousands of the programs. Application layer. Here in our application layer also, the entire application has built in the language ABAP, right? So here we are having 18,000 plus ABAP programs we are having, which help you to bring the data from your database to your presentation layer. You are asking one question in your GUI, so it will go to the database level, and from the database level it picks the values and provide you in the presentation layer. So this particularly application layer internally, how it's supposed to be. So initially whenever you ask the query from the presentation layer, initially the application layer receives by dispatcher. So dispatcher is the first area where you will get the details. Okay, so dispatcher is the first area where it picks the values. Okay, so whatever the question you asked, so dispatcher will go to this dispatcher receives. What exactly this dispatcher will do means this dispatcher will keep these values in one particular area called buffer. So initially it will put in buffer this value, assume that this is your buffer, and later this dispatcher will do the same task to maintain. I mean to say it will go to execute the some of the tasks. For your understand now I said task. In generally it will say in SAP terminology work process. Work process is nothing but a task. So there are 5 work process are there in SAP. Any of this work process will be executed. It depends on your requirement. It any of this 5 work process only executed. There is no 6 work process, only the 5 work process you have. Either any of this will be executed. And you have 2 services outside which I mentioned. So what all the work process you are having? Here the work process is dialog, update, enqueue, background, and spool. This is your buffer. So when the request receives, as I said, it will be interacted with your what dispatcher to work process. This all the work process will be maintained in a FIFO order. First in first serve manner only it will be executed. So the second time when you ask the information, every time it won't go to the buffer. Every time it won't go to the database. So first time only it will go. The second time if you ask the same query or a same question, then it won't go to directly to your database. It will bring the information from the buffer because buffer keeps the information whatever you require. Here you have a services. There are 2 services are there. One is your message service, another is your gateway. These are the 2 services and 5 work process. 5 work process. One is dialog, date, enqueue, background, tool, services is SS service and you have gateway service. Take this dialog work process. What exactly this dialog work process means? Any screen appears in front of you in SAP screens. That is called a dialog. Maybe a consultant create a material master or a vendor master like a SD consultant create using a transaction VA01 or a HCM consultant execute to hire a one employee. So they will get one particular screen, right? That screen is called simply a dialog program. Means every screen appears in front of you means one dialog program execute, whatever it may. What happens in a one particular screen? You will do some action. Some action you will do. It may be purchase creation or a, action taken or hiring a person or changing the data, user data or anything, product data that will be update in your against to your database using the update programs. Using this update program, it will be updated. The NQ will be help you to monitor this all the work process. If any problem occurs to any of this work process, then it will immediately send the message to dispatcher. So dispatcher and NQ is tightly coupled with each other. So dispatchers two work process how it's communicating means using the NQ only it's making the communication. And NQ will be understand whether its database problem is there. For example, database is not working or a database failure happened or a database has not restarted. So NQ will be understand and NQ will be throw a message to this what you say called dispatcher, and dispatcher become the yellow color. So NQ will be providing a communication to the dispatcher that I want to convey. Then background. What else we can do? Dialog programs update is there. Now you want to do some particular jobs to run automatically. Very good example I can give you here. You open a operating system, only a desktop will be appears in front of you. You didn't open Notepad or a MS Word, nothing you open. Still that particular desktop is appears. What exactly happens in your background? As per my understand, the Windows is having some DLL files which are continuously running in the background. That's why you are able to view that particular desktop in front of you, right? In the same way, SAP server is active, means there are certain standard backgrounds are running, background process are running, which the servers become the active. Or in future, we will have a discussion of how to create the background jobs without a human being interrupt. So such type of things also be handled by the backgrounds. So backgrounds will be help you to do any automation kind of things in the SAP. The next is the spool. Spool is for the output device. Any output like fax, printer, joystick, anything the external peripherals attached to your SAP to take output, scanner or anything you want, then we can go for the spool configuration. What exactly happens, why the spool has introduced in SAP, that we need to understand. Take example of MS Word. You want to take a one printout. Simply you will go to the print and print the option, and it will ask you the paper, and you took the printout. You took the 100 printouts today. 6 months back on a particular day and a particular person, what exactly he took the printout? Is it possible to identify in any of the areas like any applications? No. But here in SAP, the spool will be having it's separately created as in a work process here. Why means whenever you take a one printout in any screen, immediately it will generate a spool request, and that spool request will be communicated with your physical printer. So spool request, whatever I said, that will be stored in the database. So we can monitor and we can identify what exact data also he took the printout, and which date he took the printout, and which client he took the printout, who took the printout. All this information you can get from the spool. The spool administration we'll do here. We'll discuss in future classes. So spool is also a work process to maintain for the physical, what you say called physical copies. These are the 5 work process you have. The next is you have 2 services. One is message service, another is gateway. Come to the message service. In SAP, one particular dialog is not there, but you are accessing. Suppose instead of typing some T code, you type your name Subhas. Subhas is not a T code. Immediately it will send you a message. Wrong transaction code executed. So maybe you're executing right transaction, but the right data is not there in the back end. You're searching for a user called Subhas. So data is not found. That time also it will show you a message. How in the ATM machines it says wrong pin. After right pin also you enter into that withdrawing the money, where you have a zero balance in your account, and how come you withdraw the money. That time also it will show you a message insufficient balance. Like that the communication happens in SAP. I mean to say in a message passes to the message will be passes to any of the screen using a message service. Message may be a caution message, error message, warning message, successful message. You updated, the data is updated. User has been created, role has been created, profile is generated. Like that, the anywhere you are getting the messages, message service will be handled. So dialog, update, enqueue, everything will be interacted with your message service. That's why I mentioned this message service outside of this dialog, update, enqueue, background school. So everything will be communicated. Message, if any particular area you are getting, this is also be communicated with this. This is also communicated with this. This is also communicated. Like that it happens. This is your, what you say, called message will be help you to do that. The next is another one is called gateway. Very good example for the gateway is nothing but it's a communication happens in SAP using the gateway. Without gateway, we can say a CPU without a LAN card. A CPU without LAN card. What will be the use of that, Subhas? No
There will be no
communication.
there will be no communication within there.
Exactly. There will be no communication. Now you will get a clear picture what exactly a landscape and what exactly a architecture. Dev system quality production. See, development system to quality system to production system, you want to move the data. The concept is called TMS, Transport Management System. We discussed in introduction time. How the transport management system is working? Using the gateway. In architecture level, if you say, gateway is the main thing in architecture level. So suppose you and me are communicating. How you and me are talking? Very simple in high level, I can say using a GoToMeeting. But GoToMeeting, how it runs means using a internet. How the internet is working? Using a LAN connection. A phone connection is required. Like that in architecture level, if you think about the communication, in SAP, gateway is the communication channel which can communicate internal and external. Why I mentioned the internal means, I told you earlier also the servers can make the multiple clients. You can create inside the clients. Client can be communicated with another client that will be called a client copy. Client can be communicated with the server's client means development client can be communicated with the quality client. So that communication also be happens using the gateway. In future classes, we will be have a discussion about RFC, remote function call, RFC. In Java technologies, we generally say it's called remote method invocation, RMI programs. Okay, so such type of communication required in SAP, you have a gateway. ASP.NET, JSP.NET, or some third-party applications like Portal want to be communicate, C plus, C sharp want to be communicate with the SAP system. Gateway is the channel in architecture level. Say high level, the names may be the different LDAP, you using some communication tools that you can understand whenever that particular tool you are studying. But in architecture level, how that tool is working and how it's communicating means in gateway. Without gateway, that's why I say very simple is gateway. Without gateway means it's like a LAN card. Without LAN card CPU. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Buffer, message, gateway. Assume that this one is the landscapes and dispatcher. Do you have any doubts on the dispatcher?
No, no, no issue, no doubt.
No issue, right? Now I will be split into the same discussion to extend you to in a big picture to understand. Because as a basis consultant, the analytical skills as an SAP consultant also, who have the more analytical skills, they can go for, I can say they can master in that particular subject in SAP any modules. not required very different thinking and all. You require analytically to think. See, assume this particular first circles will be a separate individuals. You, me, and some of your three friends. Total is 5 members. Connecting with a GUI, interacting to your application system, and this application system is interacting with the database. Is there any possibility to maintain this database in a separate CPU? Yes. One particular IP address I will give that will be maintained as a data center, and you install the Oracle there. You install the Oracle. On top of the Oracle, they have a separate system, means another IP address they will provide to where they want to maintain the application server. For your clear information, as in you are an administrator, that's why I just want to stretch to understand this one. Assume that 192.168.1.100 is your database server. Database server. This is your application server. How? This is your application server. This is individual consultants as having some servers, whatever it may be. Okay, you have something called 198. Not only you, me also be there. 199. Two systems. One three systems is communicating. So don't think all this will be in a one system. If the same thing I want to be installed in my CPU, this generally it's called a distributed model. The distribution happens to database will be maintained in a data center. Applications will be there in some other places, and they want to be communicated using this. What happened? They will install this one, and this application server will be interact with this database. Like that also they will maintain. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
See, the data will be stored in this system. While you install the SAP in this particular application system, it asks where to install. That time they will provide this location. For example, this all things you assume one CPU. Okay, what happens I will tell you. In CPU, I will install operating system in C drive. I will install the D drive as in a database. That time it will ask when I install the database, it will be a D colon. D drive it will install 500 GB I have. So I spent for 50 GB for OS and all. It's enough 50 GB. Then rest of 450 I have. Now what I will do, I will allocate the 400 GB for my D drive. So when it asks to install SAP database, then I said the database supposed to be Oracle installed here, where D drive. Now when I click on the instance where to install, I will give this location D drive you install because database is there in my D drive. The same way database is there here in 1.100. Then the database will be installed here. Is it clear to you?
Adam, 1 second, please. హలో.
Yes.
ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్పరా?
మీకు ఎలా చెప్పాలంటే ఈ ఒక్కొక్క పర్సన్ ని ఒక్కొక్క సిస్టమ్ అనుకోండి. సర్కిల్స్ ఫస్ట్ ఏవైతే తీసుకున్నాను ఇండివిజువల్ సిస్టమ్స్ నుండి కనెక్ట్ అవుతారు. మీరు మీ ఇంటి నుండి నేను మా ఆఫీస్ నుండి ఇలా ఇది ఏంటి అవుతాయంటే అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ కి అప్లికేషన్ లేయర్ ని సెపరేట్ గా చేసే ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. మూడిటిని కలిపి ఒక దగ్గర పెట్టేవి ఉన్నాయి. డేటా సెంటర్స్ లోని డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్ వేరేగా పెట్టుకొని అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ ను వేరేగా పెట్టుకుంటారు. ఐపీ అడ్రస్ తేడా వస్తుంది చూస్తున్నారు ఇక్కడ. అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ వరకు నేను వేరే దగ్గర పెట్టుకుంటాను. ఎక్కడైతే SAP అప్లికేషన్ ఉంటుందో ఆ అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ కి మీరు కనెక్ట్ అవుతారు. ఆ అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ నుండి డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్ నుండి డేటా తెచ్చిస్తుంది. డేటా ఎక్కడ ఉన్నదంటే డేటా సెంటర్ లో పెట్టుకుంటారు. ఈ డేటా సెంటర్స్ మళ్ళీ థర్డ్ పార్టీ కూడా తీసుకోవచ్చు. అలా కాకుండా మీ దాంట్లోనే ఒక CPU ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకుంటే సి డ్రైవ్ నేను కనుక 50 GB తీసుకుంటే ఎక్కడ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి అంటే డేటాబేస్ ని డి డ్రైవ్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయండి అని చెప్పాను. డి డ్రైవ్ ని పార్టిషన్ చేసినప్పుడు 400 GB ఇచ్చాను. ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైతే అప్లికేషన్ ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తుంటానో ఎక్కడ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి అని అడుగుతారు. సి డ్రైవ్ లో అంటే అవ్వదు కదా. ఎక్కడ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి? డేటాబేస్ ఖచ్చితంగా కావాలి. ఒరాకల్కి SAP ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలంటే ఏ డేటాబేస్ మీద వెళ్ళి కూర్చుంటది? ఒరాకల్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నది? మీ డి డ్రైవ్ లో ఉన్నది. డి డ్రైవ్కి వెళ్ళి ఇన్స్టాల్ అవ్వు అని చెప్తాం అన్నమాట. అప్పుడు డి డ్రైవ్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ అవుతుంది. ఇదేంటంటే ఇది ఒక రియల్ టైమ్ సినారియో నేను తీసుకొని చెప్పాను అనమాట. ఈ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ ఇలా ఉంటది. మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైతే నేను మీకు సర్వర్ యాక్సెస్ కట్టిస్తానో ఒక సింపుల్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ కి మీరు కనెక్ట్ అయిపోయి మీరు పని చేసుకుంటారు. ఇదే మన రియల్ టైమ్ సిస్టమ్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళేసరికి మనకి ఏంటంటే అదేంటంటే అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ నంబర్ వేరేగా ఉన్నది, ఇది వేరేగా ఉందంటే ఆ కంపెనీ వాడికి డబ్బులు ఉన్నాయి. వాడు 2 సర్వర్లు పెట్టుకున్నాడు. అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ వేరు, డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్ వేరు.
అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్ వేరే పెట్టుకోవచ్చు, డేటా సర్వర్ వేరే పెట్టుకోవచ్చు.
సర్వర్ వేరేగా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు.
అప్లికేషన్ డేటాబేస్ రెండు ఒకే దాంట్లో కూడా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. ప్రాబ్లం
ఒకే
లేదు.
దాంట్లో కూడా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. రెండు ఒకే దాంట్లో పెట్టొచ్చు. అదే చెప్తాను. రెండు ఒకే దాంట్లోనే పెట్టొచ్చు. అందుకే చెప్తున్నాను. దీన్నే మనం ఎప్పుడైతే వేరువేరుగా పెడతారో దాన్ని డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ మోడల్ అంటారు. ఇప్పుడు ల్యాండ్స్కేప్స్ లో మనం ఎలాగైతే మనం హెట్రోజీనియస్ హోమోజీనియస్ చెప్పుకున్నాం, డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ మోడల్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే సర్వర్స్ వేరేగా మెయింటైన్ చేసుకోవడం అన్నమాట. అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్స్ వేరు, డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్స్ వేరేగా మెయింటైన్ చేస్తే దాన్ని మనం ఏంటంటారంటే డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ మోడల్ అంటారు. డేటాని
ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాంటే మనకి అంటే ఇప్పుడు మేము కూడా కొన్ని సర్వర్స్ ఏంటంటే కొన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ కి ఒకటే లైనక్స్ సర్వర్ మీద అప్లికేషన్ రన్ చేస్తాము, డేటాబేస్ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తాం. జస్ట్ పోర్ట్ నెంబర్ డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుంది అంతే. దానికి 80 పోర్ట్ యూస్ చేస్తే 6 పోర్ట్ యూస్
అవును, అంతేనండి. అప్లికేషన్ డేటాబేస్ ఒక దాంట్లో పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. లేదంటే మీరు అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారు, వేరేది ఎక్కడైనా అప్లికేషన్ పెట్టి డేటాబేస్ వేరేగా పెడితే ఆ రెండింటికి కనెక్టివిటీలు పెట్టుకోవాలి.
రెండింటి కనెక్టివిటీ పెట్టుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది వాళ్ళు.
కానీ ఎస్ఐపి ఇంటర్నల్ కాబట్టి కనెక్టివిటీలు గట్రా ఏ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ రావన్నమాట. అదే థర్డ్ పార్టీది అయితే మీకు ఖచ్చితంగా థర్డ్ పార్టీ అయితే మీకు థర్డ్ పార్టీవి కనెక్టివిటీ ఇష్యూలు వస్తాయి, సపోర్ట్ చేయాలి, ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్,
క్లియర్ కదండి? ఓకే అండి. సో ఇవాళకి స్టాప్ చేస్తున్నాను. రేపు మనం చెప్పుకుందాం క్లయింట్స్ ఏంటి, క్లయింట్ ఏంటి అనేది.